Hey there everyone, it's Darby with Riverbend Fishing. I'm really excited because today I finally get to do some videos with fishing in it. All those preliminary ones are done, so let's get to it. I'll get everything set up, get my GoPro on, and let's see if we can catch some catfish out of this irrigation ditch back here. One of the kits I did not do a video yet for is my catfishing and carp bag. It's a really boring one. It's really short and I wouldn't watch it, but it's going to be a question that comes up, so we're going to go over this real quick. It'll just take just a couple of seconds. Since we're catfishing today, I figured that'd be the perfect thing to do. We're also happen to be at the exact same spot where we were where I did the opening for the series here. Trying to see if those dogs can get over here and kill me. Okay. This is just a spider wire bag. I'm pretty sure that I got it for free. That's the only braid that I use is spider wire. I think it's the best. May not be, but I don't care. It's what I use. I've used it since it came out. There's nothing in this pocket up here. Oh, are you still on? Sorry about that. I think this is my first day with this camera. I played with it for maybe an hour total, so there may be some glitchy things going on and it's me that's doing it. I have my grips in this front pocket here. I just have a leader for some reason. I have a hook remover. I have a can opener for corn for carp. I have this tackle bag. I have some leader line, Seaguar 20-pound leader line. I have my pliers, and just a bungee, and then of course I have the Boomerang Tool Company cutters that I love. I talked about on another video, and I think they're the slickest thing ever. That is all there is. That is all there is in my bag. As far as the tackle box goes, in here I have beads, swivels, connectors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sizes of hooks, 2 ounce, 1 ounce, 2 ounce, 4 ounce weights. That's all I carry. That's it. There's no magic to it. There's no secret to it. It's all I need. It's more than I need. So for today, since I'm fishing on an irrigation canal that's about 2 feet low, as a matter of fact, this should be interesting. I'm just going to use a 1 ounce weight. I'm going to use a 2-aught hook, and I'm not going to use beads or anything because I strung this rod and reel up with a 20-pound mono. I'll explain that here in a second. So that's all I need to set this rod, this setup up right here. Let me get this readjusted here, get this stuff put away, and then hope these dogs don't do this all day or it's going to be a pain in the butt to record. Alright, I'll talk to you in just a minute. Anyway, I normally make my own bait, but I bought these 2 baits a couple of months ago and then put them out in my room. They were still in a bag, so I didn't notice them until I was shooting one of these videos, and I was like, oh man, I bought those to try them out and then forgot about them. So we'll try this out. Now, I don't know if this camera's picking it up or not. I'm just using the post on the back of my truck here today. I have my spikes, but I just want to see if we're going to get anything here because that water is so low that I don't know. Like I said, I'm not used to this camera, so hopefully when I edit this, it'll all work out right. But across there, you can see that dark line where the grass is kind of dead now, the water is usually up to where you see where the dirt's falling in along the edges. That's where the water is normally at. That's another 16, 18, 24 inches up. This vegetation is normally all underwater. So I think they may have actually drained it down to, oh, I know what happened. We were supposed to be getting hit by a tropical storm 2 days ago. And it's the magic tropical storm. We had tropical storm warning. Look out, the world's going to end. Cats and dogs living together. It went on and on and on for 36 hours talking about it. And then it just disappeared. Not a drop of rain, no wind. The storm just disappeared. Went completely away. So they drained all these down, getting ready for potential flood water. If we catch something, set up my chair here. If we catch something, then I'll put my rod holder in and such, but for now we'll just use the back of the truck. Trying to figure out what that pickup's doing down there. It wasn't there when I parked here. He's watching me. He's not out of his truck. Do what?
Getting back?
Just got here a few minutes ago. Okay, so this rod and reel that's up here, I'm hoping you can see it over here. Here, I can do this. I'm sure you can see it if I do that. Well, I'm not sure. It's going to take me a while, folks, for me to figure out this camera, which way to point it, because I don't have a screen to look at on this. I did get the noise thing to go around it to hopefully stop the wind noise. This rod and reel that's up that you see on the back of the truck. I hate that rod with a passion. I've hated that rod since the day after I bought it. Just being honest. It has a funky feel to it that I can't explain. It says it's a 6'6" medium heavy, 6'6" I believe, but it's really hard. It's really stiff up to the second eyelet, and then it's medium to the third eyelet, and then it's a noodle on the fourth and fifth eyelets up there. Hopefully you're seeing what I'm talking about. I bought it at the Marine Exchange or PX or whatever at the Marine Annex in Norfolk. They had a really nice little fishing section. It was little, but it was nice. And it was on sale. It was normally $19.99 rod and reel. It's called a Maytec, M-A-Y-T-E-C. It's made in Korea. And it was normally $19.99. Father's Day was coming up, and it was on sale for $14.99. So I bought it. I should not have bought it. A couple reasons. One, because I hate the rod with a passion. Number two, we didn't have the money for stuff like that, but I spent it anyway back then. So, like I said, I just hate that rod. It just has a horrible feel to it. And sorry, I don't know the technical name for it, but the part that slides onto the reel, to the base of the reel to hold it, there's this real flimsy, like aluminum can aluminum. Matter of fact, one of them is has torn, but it's been torn for 8 or 10 years, and no reel's fallen out of it yet. Having said all that, I cannot even guess. Am I getting a bite? Or is that the wind? I think it's the wind. I cannot even guess at the number of fish that I've caught with that rod. The reel that was on it, I didn't know what happened to it until I was actually driving over here. Then I vaguely remembered what happened to it. I use that rod and reel for saltwater, freshwater. I use it for everything. And I caught tons and tons of fish off of it. Then it kind of got retired. You know, I would just bring it out every once in a while. And I'm just being blunt with y'all. I kept hoping the rod would break. Now I could take the reel, which I thought was pretty decent, and put it on a rod that I liked. Well, make plans to see how God laughs at you about it. What happened is the reel broke, and the rod is still going strong to this day. It's never been repaired, doesn't have a crack, creak. It is just in flawless shape. So when I was doing the video for rods and reels the other day, and I reached out with my rod, one of my rods, and I was banging on rods and reels, I'm going, look, I have them all the way out here. The one you hear fall is that rod. And when it fell, even though I'm still talking to you, I looked at it and I went, why doesn't that have a reel on it? Because if there's one thing that makes my butt itch, it's a rod without a reel. I can have reels laying around not on a rod. I cannot have a rod laying around without a reel on it. Part of my fishing sickness. So that's been bugging me for a week or so since I shot that video, however long ago it was. It'll have come out by the time you see this. Matter of fact, we just went up this last weekend. Anyway, so I stopped on at Bass Pro on my way home to see if they had anything that I liked. Now, back up to the other videos I've already put out, and I showed you that Lew's rod and reel that I carried. I always carry it in my truck. And I tell you, that's my only Lew's. It's the only one I've ever owned. It's the only one that I do own. And I love that rod and reel. I love both of them. I love the reel and I love the rod. So I said, well, I'm going to stop at Bass Pro and see if they have Lew's reels. And if not, maybe I'll go up to Academy later this week, because it's a little farther to Academy than it is to Bass Pro from my house. One's like 5 minutes and one's like 10 minutes. So I went in and they had these Lew's. I'm going to put in the two pictures. One is of the top of the box with the number of it, and the other one will be the statistics for it. I'll put that in right here. Now, as you can see, it's crazy fast. I think, I'm not looking at it right now, but I think it was like 6.2 to 1. That thing is fast. And it's smooth. It's buttery smooth. It's brand new, but it's buttery smooth. So I bought that, and I put on this rod. I'm hoping that this reel will outlast this rod. And then at some point, I'll be able to put this reel on a rod that I like. But I'm not going to let this rod win. It's just the way I am. I will continue to use this rod until it finally gives up the ghost and breaks and I can throw it away. But that's a story on the rod and reel. So now today you've seen my catfish and carp bag. You've seen this rod and reel. And I told you in that video, I said I have more rods and reels than I need, but I don't have all of them that I'm going to buy. It's been less than 2 weeks and I've already bought another reel. But I really sincerely am going to cut way back, because what I'm getting ready to start doing, as a matter of fact, after this is it. After this one, what I plan on doing is starting to upgrade my gear. I'm going to start taking some of these very cheap reels that I have that I don't like, not the ones I like. Here, let me rephrase this. I'm going to start taking some of these rods and reels that I don't like and start upgrading them, so that I get to myself where I have, you know, 2 for catfish, 2 for pier fishing, 2 for surf fishing, 2 for bass fishing, so on and so forth, that are exactly what I want. But I will say, this Lew's is new to me. This reel is new to me. If it performs anything like that other one that I bought, I may become a Lew's guy for my freshwater. Be Penn saltwater, Lew's freshwater. We'll have to see. I don't think I'm ever going to stop using my Zepcos, but we'll see. I tell you, I should have brought my other hat to keep the sun off my noggin and ears. It's so stupid. I have one too, and I left it sitting in my room there. I need to just stay in my truck, so when things like this happen, I need it. I have it. Sometimes my life is a soup sandwich, and it's all because of the crap I do. There we go. Come on, hit it again. Oh, I lost it. I did not check my drag. My fear is that this bait that I'm using gets so soft in the water that it just kind of crumbles off and they're able to suck it off the hook. The problem is when I reel it in, I'm reeling it in through a ton of vegetation, so even if it was still on there sitting on the bottom, it's going to get stripped off coming through that vegetation. But if I don't see any activity on it, something was pulling on it, not super hard, but it was tugging. So if it doesn't move again here in the next couple of minutes, then I'll pull it out and rebait it. Okay, something's tugging on it, just barely tugging. I'm hoping the GoPro's catching this up here. Turn it up this way and see. You can't feel it because you're just watching a flat screen, but the vibration this way is the wind. It's this that I'm watching, where it's tap, tap, tapping at it. One thing I did on here was I was going to buy a 12-pound fluorocarbon for this rod and reel, and then I must have seen a shiny lure or something that distracted me, so I forgot to buy line. So when I got home, all I had was in fluoro or mono, either one, was 4, 6, and 8, 4, 6, 8, and 10, and then 20. 10 is too light for this vegetation out here. If I catch a 2 or 3 pound cat in here and it buries down this vegetation, I've got to be able to fight it out. So I threw 20 pound on here. I think that reel's only rated for like 12 or 14. I don't even know what the rod's rated for, but it's what I had, so I spooled it up with that. I'll use it until I get the right stuff on there. And see, that's one of the things I'm talking about here. This has right here, my finger, I cannot slide it past that. It's got this little notch here where most fishing rods nowadays are smooth right here, so that when you get that whip back, it just goes. But on this one, if you get that whip back, it grabs that thing. It's hard to get it off. I just hate this rod. And I know somebody's going to go, if you hate it so bad, just get rid of it. Once again, the rod is not going to beat me. This rod will die, and then I'll get rid of it. I don't know if I'm helping or hurting by doing this. About every 10 years I buy catfish bait like this, and then I remember why I don't use it, and kind of a weird thing to say, but when I go catfishing, I like to be out longer, because sometimes you can be like this and just not catch anything, and then all of a sudden they just turn on, or you get here and they're going and they shut down. When that happens, I usually leave, but when you get here and they're turned off. But I had to do some work today at work. They pay me, so they expect me to do what I'm supposed to do. So right when I was getting ready to leave to come out here, I had to do some work, and it delayed me quite a bit from getting out here. Well, that's going to do it. I'm hoping that this GoPro, this one, it was a video about that fishing rod and reel, which is just a side note about my catfish and carp bag, and I want to catch a fish today. Hopefully, I really want to have a good run with the GoPro. I got in about 3.5 hours with it, so I could see angles and which way it needs to be tilted. There's a lot of things I still need to learn about it, and hopefully it's cut into the video. If you know about GoPros, there's something that I should know, just tell me. I'd be happy to listen. One of the things I recorded at the very end is I figured out, I thought there was some bass down in here going after dragonflies. I got out one of my always in the truck rods and started playing around, and I finally saw what it was. It was a shad. You know, he's about that big, and they're under this grass eating bugs that are landing. But that's when I discovered it's only 6 inches deep today. And when we got here, I told you it was, you know, 18 inches of 2 foot low. So 95, 96 degrees out here, sun blasting down, no clouds really to speak of, and 6 inches of water. Those catfish aren't moving, and they're not going out to eat. So that's why they call it fishing, not catching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully soon I'll get on the fish. Till next time, see you at the water.